And one of the big ideas that we didn't include in the book, but it actually lives through every example in the book, is what we call the 3 critical ingredients for how to be more influential and persuasive in any given conversation. I was wondering if you folks would be okay if I shared that with you today. How you can show up to any conversation. Listing presentation, buyer console, helping somebody sign a buyer's agency agreement, giving you confidence when somebody won't agree to your pricing adjustments, talking to your kids that are not tidying up their bedrooms, helping somebody decide whether they do or don't want to stay in their marriage. All of these moments, this same conversational framework would be helpful. Would that be useful, yes or no? Yes. See, I've learned that if you want to be more persuasive in any given conversation, you only need these 3 ingredients. The first is an ingredient called curiosity. And curiosity is powerful when you first understand what the opposite of curiosity is. If somebody shows up to a conversation and they're not curious, what are they? Judgmental, indifferent, nosy. And have you ever had a conversation where somebody has that I strong, I know best mentality, where they're so sure of themselves that the more sure they are of themselves, the more it rubs you up the wrong way? You're like, really now, huh? It's kind of ironic that showing up with high levels of certainty creates high levels of uncertainty. By alternative, if you show up to a conversation with the right level of curiosity, what you earn is something important. Something that was talked about even in the very first conversations this morning about AI. What you learn is you learn the other person's context. There is not a conversation in the land that you're going to enter into that you're going to not want to put in some of your content, correct? You want to put content about why this area, why this price, why now, why you. But if you insert your content before you earn the other person's context, you just made a noisy situation noisier. We have to get the context first. Who in this room is a parent or has had a parent? Parents are exceptional at giving advice, often for entirely the wrong problem. I'll share with you a quick story. Is maybe 2 Christmases ago, I was back at my house in England and I was stood around my kitchen island and my then 17-year-old daughter came to me for some advice. At least that's what I thought. And dads, right, you'll get this. 17-year-old daughter comes to you for advice. You're like, woohoo, right? So she comes to me for some advice. And here's the words that left my mouth. I'm embarrassed. I said, honey, when I was in your shoes. And as the words left my mouth, I looked down at the girl's feet and I'm like, not a day in my life have I wore footwear that resembled that. I realized I was the least qualified person on the planet to deliver advice in that. So I chose to be curious for a very short period of time. It was about 17 minutes, during which I delivered 0 advice. I asked questions, I got a further greater understanding of what it is, and she says, I think I know what I want to do, Dad. She figured it out all by herself. It's somewhere close to the advice I would have given, but she got there by herself. I'm going to make this really easy for your industry. Is now a good time to buy a house, yes or no? Yes. Is now a good time to sell a house, yes or no? Yes. Stop it, all of you. The answer is it depends. The answer is it depends, and we should love the fact that it depends, because that's what makes you relevant. We used to think in this industry that you were amazing at what you did if you were a knowledge broker at what you did, if you knew your area inside out, you understood the stats about market conditions and comps and variables and the relationships about how this goes with lending and other additional costs, and your knowledge was your value. That is not today. That is less relevant today than it was yesterday, and today is the most relevant day that will ever be again. What are we most valuable at doing? Is understanding other people's context. Understanding what's really happening in their world so we can take the knowledge that exists in the world and apply it to their unique circumstances. I'll give you a really funny example on this, right? I get to be eyes in all these different real estate groups, and I don't tell anybody I'm there. I'm like a professional lurker in these Facebook groups, hearing what's going on. And somebody talked about this objection that comes up often that says, well, What if somebody says the other agent has sold 15 homes? And there's this thread that comes out with everybody showing up and throwing up their version of here's what I say. When the other dude says he's sold 15 homes more than you, why should I go with them? I said, well, why don't you respond with this question? How many homes are you looking to sell? Because in most sets of circumstances, it isn't 15, right? And they're like, oh. But it took 600 idiotic responses for me to realize I got to respond in here with a curious question that garnered some context that meant that we stopped trying to win the wrong argument. See how often this shows up? We have to slow the process down to get curious enough about what's really going on. If you want to be certain that you're the right person to be able to help your clients, you need to be certain about what's really going on in their world. How many clients do you have in your database? Let's pick on you.
950.
950. When did you make that number up?
I know it.
Is it exactly 950?
Give or take.
And your name, sorry?
Erica.
Now, I'm going to pick on Erica. I also want you to know that I'm not picking on Erica. I'm actually picking on all of you at the exact same time. Erica just has to be like the prop in this point that we're making. Erica has 950, not 949, not 951, not 953. Is it exactly 950?
About.
Oh, so it's about. So not everybody matters. Okay? It's about. If I was to make direct contact with those 950 people that you're calling your clients, how many of them would call you their agent?
Probably 550 of them.
Not all of them, right? We're out running around, trying to find net new. Yet you've got dozens and dozens and dozens of people that you are calling your clients that are not calling you their agent. And you want to know why this is? Because you forget about them at the closing table. You don't really. You're like, I'm going to touch you inappropriately 20 times a year. And then I'm going to drip all over you and make you soaking wet, and you're going to love it. Right? That's what we do with these people. And then we check in, touch their base, circle back, and do more inappropriate things and wonder why they fall out of love with us. You laugh because it's true. Do you know that every single human being over the age of 18 is actually a lead? You want some killer stats? These ones blew my mind. Is Zillow, am I allowed to say that? Okay, a lead brokerage that rhymes with pillow. Well, let's back up. How many homes were sold in the United States of America in 2024? Total? About 4 million, right? How many leads were sold by that independent lead brokerage? Over 5 times. Who's the idiot? Right? What ends up happening in this industry is I give you anybody and I call it a lead and you go, now I'm going to speak to this person. And then what I do is I take it from you and I give it to you and say, here's another anybody, speak to this person. And because I told you it's a lead, we use it as permission to be able to have conversations with them. The mistake this entire industry makes, and this is Phil Jones saying it to a group of people in a small room, is you all play 30, 60, 90 and you think it's days. If you play 30, 60, 90 months, everybody's a lead. Who in this room has some idea about the next move they might make in their life? Might be years away, but when X happens, then Y might happen. When X happens, then Y might happen. And you've got some idea. How many of your 953 people do you have some idea of what their next move might be? Most of them? Can you all answer that question in the same way? What difference would it make to your conversations if it was nothing to do with how about now? Here's another unsolicited CMA. Hey, how about now? Look at me, I just sold another house. How would it change your conversations if you knew what they were working on in their world? It would be big, right? Slow the process down, you'll speed up the outcome. Be curious enough about what's really going on in other people's lives. This is a big deal right now. And winning in real estate, to me, for anybody who wants to be in this business for a long time, not just a good time, is defense. Right now, It's defense. Shut the back door. Anybody you've ever interacted with in the past, that has done business with you in the past, that has had value from you in the past, make sure that they will never, ever, ever do business with anybody other than you or anybody you recommend. You run that play right now, then you'll have a business 10 years on from now. Keep filling up on new. Understand that everybody who's in your 951 person database is always also in somebody else's. And for them not wanting to bother you, because they're not sure that you're aware that they might possibly perhaps be thinking about making a move and they're not sure they're ready yet, they swan into somebody else's open house who sits them down, asks them a few questions, is a touch more curious, signs a 12-month buyer's agency agreement with them and does business with them because they're 2 cities over and they didn't want to bother you. True or true?